Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian report for Thursday the 6th of January. This is CBA here, of course. Let's on the daily chart. Let's assume that this ABC here for the wave B is correct for a moment. Then we would have this C wave down through to here, wouldn't we? And that would obviously bring the ASX down as well for that. Now, what we have been doing, well, first of all, in that time period here, we can see the A wave is normally sharp. So this is really quick here, but these are all days here. So it's quite a long period of time. So we could spend quite a longer time in wave C here for this, if this is correct. So how will we know that it's correct? Because this structure here is 5 waves, and then we've got 5 waves up here that's probably finished at this point, and we would go long once that top comes in play. But if we have 5 waves up here, which I think we do in terms of 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 coming into here, once that top's there, we can go long above that. But we could also say to ourselves, well, you know, Pete, if that's a bullish market, then this move up through here, it's quite long, so we could it could be up for 1 and back for 2. It could be up for 1 and back for 2, so that would leave this little area here as a possible retracement area for that. So what we could also be just wave 3 as well, by the way, and just come back to the 38.2% retracement level here. So to confirm that it's going to be bearish, you know, coming down for wave C here, then we would need at least that 100 here. You know, would want to see the market locked under that, wouldn't we, at that point? So in terms of shorting this as well, we can short it. We could get a small position up here and just wait for the bounce and all that goes on here, because it may go up from that point. But if it gets locked under here, then it goes down, then we can add to the position at that point. So we could do a bit of a robo method here and put that line under here for the time being, under that low, whatever that price is. You can check on that. It's like 103 or something. So yeah, if we go to the tick chart here for a moment, I know that we normally start with the ASX, but this will be sort of governed by that. So we're looking for a move up here. Go from wave 4, 1 and 2 is pretty clear, 3 is okay. The wave 5 hasn't really finished. There's probably a case for going up here, one more move up here. It's not that we're going to go long here. We could pop that under here for that. I think anyway, it doesn't really matter under there for that. If that's breached, then we'll be going down further from that. So I don't know if we're going to have an A and a B and a C wave down to here and then head up from that point, or we're going to lock under here and go down from that point. This is our next step that we have to work out. Okay, but just pointing out that the US markets are in a bit of a weak situation, and that means that we can also come into this scenario of moving lower through here. So that said, let's go back to the ASX here. So if CBA is going to go all that way down here, then there's it's possible that we could call this an A. Well, we could look at this we can configure this in a lot of ways, but we could look at this as a wave B up here and come down for wave C here of wave 4 and move up from that point. That's what sort of haunts me a little bit. I don't know. I haven't sort of got enough evidence to prove a deep move like that at this point, but I do think it's worth pointing out at this stage, and we have chatted about it before. So this move going up here, it's a little bit tricky to count 5 waves in here. We can push it in 5 waves, so we can go 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here for that and have that as wave 1 and come back for wave 2 at that point. So that's sort of worth thinking about, because that little move here within its own right here is already 5 waves coming down. So that means that with that 5 waves coming down here, let's just take it to the 7500 here, then we're going to see a bounce here, and then we're going to see another 5 down. Now, will it stop in here and be wave 2 here, or are we going to come further down? That's what I don't know. We also looked at this here with wave 4 being here, and then wave 1 here and 2 here, and then wave 1 here and back for wave 2 here. But because that's 5 waves here within its right, within that space there, that's highly unlikely. So the two scenarios are that we have either wave 1 here and we're going back for wave 2, or we've got wave B up here and we'll be coming deeper. So with that said, I'm just going to go straight to the hourly chart. And yeah, you can see that it's sort of moving down pretty rapidly at that point. Let's go to the tick chart here. So just for your info, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1 and 2, and then there's 5. I pulled this apart on the 5 tick chart for wave 3, 4, and then we're going down here for wave 5. So I would say there's 1 and 2 in here, and 3 in here, and 4 in here. So we're going to come into the 75 area through here, and then have a bounce at that point. How far will it come back up? Well, we've got this supply zone here, and we've got this block over here for this, but it's sort of a bit tricky to see it coming back that far at this stage, because sometimes markets just continue to cascade lower. But we should see some sort of bounce off this point and then move down. But the takeaway here is that that this is impulsive coming down, so we will be coming down further in all of this for the banks and for the ASX here. So let's just go back a little bit here to the hourly chart, pick this up and start to work on this a bit. So we don't need, that's done its job there. I just thought that I'll put that line there because I thought there'd be some consolidation there. So there's really not much on this one. It's too far in history now. I don't know if we talked about shorting it at that point or what that was, but that's that. So realistically, just sort of eyeballing things up here, that's the length of this here. So we could look at, the same length at least coming in here. So I would suggest that we're going to see some sort of little bounce or consolidation on the 75, which will give you another shorting opportunity, and then the target will be down at the 74 at that point. Now, I've got it as an ABC here for wave 2, but we could end up seeing it come much lower than that, so just be mindful of that. Let's just check on ANZ for a moment. Okay, so yesterday it popped its head up there, and that's okay. We were looking, we weren't going to go long on this until we had a nice tested support on this, and this is where it could fail there. There's a good case for having an impulse wave in this structure here. So yeah, we may end up seeing this wave C or 4 still come into play just at this point. If you wanted to short this, ANZ on the open will sort of gap a little bit and then make a run. It just sort of, it gaps, it will gap and stop and stay there, and then it'll wait for CBA and all the others to open up further along. But you could short there and put the stop on here for that, just keeping it really sort of simple at that point. Sometimes simple is good. So anyway, that's that. So yeah, let's just go back to sorry to dance around a little bit, but let's just go back to the daily chart here for a moment. So yeah, I mean, it did make a nice triangle pattern within all of this here. I was quite sort of, everything was sort of happy. I was happy with this, you know. But this move here is in 3 waves here, you know. That's the tricky little bit for me, unless we look at this as some sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. I'll go back and check that. If that's the case, let's just see where that would come from at that point. Just give us another target at that stage. Okay, it takes us to the top there in that instance. It's just worth having, you know, just shooting the breeze here a little bit. This takes us into the 74, you know, because we expect Thursday to be bearish, and we'll see what Friday delivers. So perhaps we can get all this done and dusted by, you know, done and dusted by Thursday afternoon. We'll take a look at it then. So alrighty, so let's go and have a look at the other side of the world, the resources. Iron ore here, all that looks good, but that move up, this is a daily chart, this is iron ore here, and the move up through here though has moved up on lower volume. So that's a bit of divergence. Until it takes that top out there, we'll just need to be a little bit sort of patient. If it does take that top out there, then we'll be sort of okay with that. Now, will we see banks down and resources up on this note? Well, one would have to say that FMG and that would sit reasonably stable at this point. They won't be hit as hard as the banks will. But there we go. So there's not really a lot to see in the in these guys here. We were looking for a top yesterday here for this. So I don't know if you want to lock this up at this point and put this one up in here. And what we can do is, you know, because if the 43 here, which let's talk trading levels for a moment. Medium level at 40, and then 1, 2, and 3 that make up minor group 1. Okay, so at minor group 1 here, if minor group 1 becomes the support, then we'll be going higher from that point. But to get to that support, we're going to need something like this here. You know, we're going to need some first sort of high above the level type of thing. We're going to need something like that. So if we get out here, we can move back in over here if you like, and then that would protect us from, because I don't know if this all move up here is some part of some sort of A, B, and C wave that I've got here. And you know, this is rough as guts, this thing here. You know, it's a bit tricky to work out. I could probably work it out if I pondered on it for long enough, but always a little bit short for time. So yeah, I just think this is a nice place to protect that situation. And like I said, if it stays steady and you know, we end up getting a support on this level here, well, then we can move back in. I mean, the other downside point here is that just taking it from, we'll just take it from this point to this point, we could end up back here, as I've mentioned before, with this wave B here coming into this space. So we could be in this little area through here. So I don't know if you want to sort of hold that, but I don't know if I can look at this as 5 waves up. I don't think I can look at this as 5. I could look at it as an impulsive wave that's not finished and we can go further up, but I can't look at it as 5 waves. If I could get a nice clear 5 waves here, then it might be worth sort of taking some out here and putting it back in over here, and you know, working the trend a little bit. Let's just have a look at Rio and so on here for a moment. Rio's up there as well. I think we'll leave Rio because it's a straight iron ore play, isn't it? And iron ore was up, and you know, this looks a little bit impulsive here, but because we made a new low over here, but we could still have this as as wave 1 or wave A here, and then an A and a B and a C wave up here with one more little high to come in here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, one more new little high and then rolling over. But I think we've got time because 100 is a sticky number, so I don't think it's going to go very far. Let's have a little look at FMG because that will be sitting at $20 somewhere. Yeah. So I think because of what's happening in the ASX, I think we should sort of look at this and come back and lock this up because the S&P 500 is really rolling over at this point. So let me just bring that up for a moment, just to give you an idea here. You see this here? So this is one thing again as well. What I've got here with the S&P, this is a 4-hour chart. I don't know if we're going from wave B down to wave C here, or we can look at all of this move up here as wave 1 and coming back for wave 2 here. But it does look very impulsive at this point. It could just sort of stop and turn and go back up, and this is news driven or whatever. But yeah, so that's what I don't know just yet. So I need for this to play out a little bit further to give us something. But if this all ends up just being wave 1 here, if that becomes 5 waves to the 61.8%, then then we will get wave 3, 4 and 5, and we'll call all of this pattern here a wave 3 and wave 4, but as an expanded flat correction, as an A wave, a B wave, taking the top out here, sucking all the longs in, coming down here, dropping below here, sucking all the bears in, and then moving up from that point. So this is what we could be up against at the moment. Yeah, so I can still see that there's on the tick chart, which is on another screen at the moment, I can still see that we've got further to go. We will get a rally here. We'll get something here, but we still got further downside because these 1s and 2s need to play out here. It's not finished to the downside. So it's creating a bit of a bearish pattern here. So I don't know if we should, like we've done before, protect this at this point, but let's just put that in here, and that way we've got all our longs protected at this point. And the other point here too is that if we get the reaction here, which is normally in sort of 3 waves, and then we get the first high above the level and then some sort of correction here, well, this is where we'll go long again over here. And it looks quite impulsive here. I kind of like it. It's good, but I could certainly still see this here as an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave. Well, up here, finishing here or here. I can count it both ways. So I really have to wait for this for the setup. So I think it's a good idea to let's just look after this. If the other markets were still bullish and they hadn't fallen out of bed so much, then we would stick with our plan that we're going to do yesterday and just allow these to play out. But I'm a bit of a scaredy cat, and I just want to look after that. So I didn't look at the Australian dollar yesterday, so I want to have a look at that. So, or did we look at it? I can't remember. So one of the things here, just remove these here, is we've got, this could also be bullish up here, but I'm still 1 wave short down here, for my wave 5 here. And I know that the wave 4 has moved quite high. It hasn't overlapped wave 1. It is in an A and a B and a C wave here. It is in 3 waves to this point. It means that it could go further up as well. And if it did that, this would be 73, the top of group 1 of 70. So we'd end up seeing a classic trading levels pattern sitting here anyway, and then moving up from that point with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, A, B, C, and then up again. But otherwise, we just come down into wave 5 here, which I think is the case, because I haven't finished this leg here. So let's just see. This is for the FX traders, this is a nice little switch setup here on the daily chart. So shorting under here and putting a stop up above here would be okay. But we're at 72, so it's always nice to have 72 as the resistance. Okay, I'm going to leave it all at that. So thanks for tuning in. Cheers.